Hello my friends, this is Blu-ray Cinema, talking to another video for today. And today, we're going to rank the Joe Dante pictures, and this will be part 1. Because I think, covered some of it, and then be another part for another time, another day. And I like to say today, if you didn't know, Robert Carradine passed away yesterday at age of 71. He was a good B actor. I didn't know he did Lizzie McGuire because that's not my kind of thing. But I remember him in the late 70s, early 80s doing Revenge of the Nerds, Massacre at Central High, which is a good one if you ever have a chance to see that film. But he's more known for Revenge of the Nerds than anything else than working with his brothers David and Keith. And I know he did a video for Full Moon with his dad, John Carradine, who passed away in, I think their dad passed away around 1990. I'm not 100%. I know his older brother David passed away in 2009/2010. God rest his soul. I mean, were these King of B movies? No, they just did a lot of them. David did, Death Sport 2000. He did a couple Roger Corman films. So did Robert. I think did a little bit, but Robert did as David. Robert did a little. Robert and David. I think Robert and his dad did one or two movies for Full Moon, which was Wizard at the time, which was something else at the time before it became Full Moon. But they did two compilation videos, horror videos for Full Moon. You can look that up if you want to. And that was like late 70s, early 80s. Robert Carradine is known for doing a lot of films in the 80s, early 90s. Just not a lot. He also did Tag, the Assassination Game, which I got to rewatch because that's coming on Blu-ray soon. Tag, the Assassination Game, which has never been on Blu-ray ever before. So this is the first time for that, for people who want that. I have to rewatch it to see if I want that too again. See, I want that in my collection. But that's nor here nor there. But now we're talking about Joe Dante films. And he directed 13 of them. Well, 14 if you count the movie Orgy, which I never seen it, but that's a 7-hour movie which I never watched. And you're going to ask why is it 7 hours? Because it's got commercials, it's got cartoons, it's got some movies and some parts of movies, and I never seen it. I never knew anybody that has. Vinegar Syndrome did put that out, but that's if that's not all there, that's a couple of days just to get through that fucking thing. It would take me at least 2 or 3 days to get through it all if I would watch it all. But I not watch it all one day. That would kill a whole day. And then you go, wait, where do I go from here? But we're going to just do his 13 that he directed. Now, that he produced. Now, he did the 7 of. We're not going to talk about TV movies or Masters of Horror or Twilight Zone or producing movies that he never directed. Because if I do that, then that's a whole topic on its own. It's like Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi is a whole topic on his own, on that director himself, and the films he produced, and why he produced them. That's a whole nother day. That's a whole nother subjects that I may or may not get into. This channel may or may not get into. If you're watching this channel, you know what you're in for. So today is ranking the Joe Dante films, part 1. Okay. My number 13, and these two are switchable for me, is Burying the Ets. Now, I have very few, if no, notes. Burying the Ets is just, it's okay. I mean, it's good casting, but the guy's girlfriend just comes back from dead and over and over and over, and the chemistry is not that great. I appreciate the acting, but yeah, this was made in 2013, folks. And the last Joe Dante film for a while, and I just don't. It's okay. I just don't care for it. So enough of that. My number 12 is The Hole, and yes, Dick Miller is in a lot of these, and I'll discuss that. Dick Miller is in the Hole. Is in the movie The Hole, where he has people like rent or buy that house, and it's a group of kids who buy or rent a house, and they discover there's a hole in their basement, and they go into the hole or they fall into the hole. I don't remember, because I watch it and it just nothing. It's a movie where nothing happens. Dick Miller is going to be Dick Miller, but it came out in 2009. You can watch it on Tubi or wherever you want to. And it just in the basement, they find a hole or in the basement that goes all the way down. Where's it going down? We don't know. And I think one of them goes in or falls in there. I'm not sure, but it just drags and drags and drags and drags and drags, and I don't. It's not scary. It's not fun to me. It's not the best Joe Dante picture out there. I mean, it's a little bit above Burnett's, but not by much. And so, well, oh yeah, right. My next film on my list, which I kind of like a little bit, because it's a Roger Corman film. He did a film for Roger Corman called Hollywood Boulevard. Now, this film could go up a little bit more, but there's one's up above that. And it's got Dick Miller in it as a Hollywood agent. It's got the couple from Ian Raoul, Paul Bartel and Mary Warnoff. That's husband and wife. And it's a movie about making a movie in Hollywood, and they're making it funny, and how it is back then in 1960s, 1970s, how it's to make a movie, what they go through, the casting call, all that stuff. Good stuff. I like Dick Miller as a Hollywood agent because that works. The way he talks, the way he speaks like a Hollywood agent. And Paul Bartel and Mary Warnoff as director, casting director, or she's like the star, or she's directing, she's the star of the film. So, and they're trying to find a girl for the film, and there's a guy in it that does stunts in it too, and fails, and they got to find a new stunt guy and all this other stuff. So you get inner workings of Hollywood, and it just works. But that's kind of one Roger Corman film. To me, it's a hit and miss, but it's more hit than miss. But I say check it out if you haven't seen it. You can stream it, you can rent it, or whatever you want to do. But it's not bad. That's my number 11. My number 10 is film where Dick Miller plays the asshole. It's like not a carbon copy of Jaws, but it's Piranha. And it's okay. I mean, is it Jaws ripoff? In a way. But is it not really, but sort of, because it's, Dick Miller plays a bad guy / businessman who's trying to keep things going on the beach wherever, and all these piranhas, and there's piranhas and young piranhas. He's going to lose business. Same thing like Jaws in a way, but it's not. It doesn't place on the beach. He plays on this ocean stuff, and it was another Roger Corman film. A lot of people like Piranha, and I understand why they do. But I don't like Piranha. I don't like when James Cameron. I don't like the James Cameron sequel here, Piranha 2: The Spawning, and that's another topic about that shit, which I may or may not go into. And then there's the remake and the sequels to the remake, which remake is a little bit more funnier because it doesn't take it seriously and knows what it is, and I can appreciate that. But the problem is got stupid, ridiculous, and not so fun. But I say the remake is no more fun than the original because it's not. It's a little more campy, I think. But again, I don't know. I haven't seen the remake in a while. But okay, my number 9 is Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes back in action. And you can tell right from the get-go, Joe Dante loves the Looney Tunes because he puts them out there well, and it's got Brendan Fraser, Steve Martin as a bad guy who's trying to be over the top, but it's too being over the top, and you got Goldberg as a bad guy to. I don't know what they're going to do with Looney Tunes. I have to go back and see, but yeah. I mean, you tell the Looney Tunes stuff by its own works. Just the rest of the movie, the live action stuff, doesn't work so well. Because it's not trying to be a Roger Rabbit, I can tell you that. It's not trying to be a Roger Rabbit by any means. But knowing the fact that Joe Dante loves Looney Tunes says a lot for me. Just the rest of the movie as a whole just falls flat on its ass completely. It shouldn't do that, but it does do that. But I think it's a corporate trying to buy the Looney Tunes and control Looney Tunes, and Brendan Fraser is a good guy, and I forget who the female lead is too. But Goldberg Summers in it, who is trying to stop the Tunes or trying to get Tunes back, and Steve Martin's the big bad business guy. It's like, and they came out in 2003. Howard Boulevard came out in, I think, 68. Piranha came out in 70. I think 75 or 76, somewhere around there. But yeah. Alright. And I think I'll do 1 or 2 more, and then we'll do the rest of them in a couple of days. Number 8 is Explorers. Now, you say, wait, now I know you guys are my subscribers and more to come that have been with me since the beginning. You'll say, wait a minute, I like Explorers. Okay, hold right there. Hold on a second. Hold on. Don't get mad at me. The thing is, 2/3 of Explorers works. And I'll tell you why. Because before they get to the alien spaceship, everything they're doing works. Trying science experiments, seeing how things work, trying to build the spaceship in the junkyard with all the junk. Seeing things work, see if they can actually do this and lift off. And you got Dick Miller, in his little Dick Miller role a little bit. So what he says in film, how it feels like to be a kid or a kid at heart, which I like. I appreciate that because that is true. But they, Ethan Hawke. I forget. I think River Phoenix is in there too, and stuff like that. All that is great. All the kids stuff is great. Once you get to the alien space, once you get to inside the alien spaceship, and then you meet the aliens, that's where I go, yeah. And they're copying things they see on TV, and the aliens do. Okay, they don't know, but then the 2 aliens are voiced by Robert Picardo from Deep Space, from Voyager, The Howling, The Burbs, Airspace. I could go on and on and on. And Wendy Shaw from Airspace. And I think so. You can say if I'm wrong in the comments. Any things you like or have higher on your list, guys, or my subscribers, or anybody who wants to make a comment, you know, you can put these in order any way you like. There's no judgment here, none. These are just, my opinion and the way I rank them to my favorite. Everybody has their own personal favorites. I know people love Explorers. I get it, I do. Because I just watched it a couple of months ago recently. And they said, hey, this isn't bad, this is pretty good. And then you get to the last third and go, yeah. That's where I go, right there. It's kind of like, yeah. But 90% of it I love. I do. It's just that last 10% I go, yeah. That's where it falls a little flat. And some people had that opinion. I don't know if everybody does, but some people do. Some people like that build, that build up, all that build, and then you get to the aliens is like, and you tell the kids are somewhat having or trying a good time, and they go like, wait, they're not bored like this is right, huh? They're not like that. They're like, I'm not saying they're dumbfounded either. They're like, it's like almost like, huh? And there's like, they're not sleepwalking to it. They're not going through the motions. They're trying to get to it the best they can, and the kids do a very, very good job. Robert Picardo as voice acting is doing a good job. I'm not saying he's not. He is. Just that the animation and the aliens are a little bit too goofy, and I don't want to be that serious either, but, and then the ending where they explore and then they're flying in the sky, and is it a dream? Is it not a dream? At the ending, it's like, okay. That part's not too bad, the ambiguous ending. It's just that the aliens are like, they copy everything on TV, and it just, I don't know if it's a gag or not, but it ran a little bit too long for my taste. But other than that, I like the film very, very, very much. So I have no complaints except for that third act. No complaints. None whatsoever, none. And my number 7 is Small Soldiers. And I would call it, some people can call it Gremlins Light. And you would be right. Because, Kristen Dunst, I think, was her first film, or her second film. I forget who's the kid, but you got Phil Hartman in it. Phil Hartman's last movie, because it's dedicated to him. You have Wendy Shaw as the wife. I forgot she was in it. You have a couple of actors he used as Joe Dante, and you have the toys that that Dennis Leary and had built, and they were military use, by David Cross and his partner. And basically, toys were amok, and you got soldiers and Gorgonites. You think Gorgonites are bad, but no, the soldiers. The lead soldier, voiced by Tommy Lee Jones, and the other soldiers are voiced by actors from The Dirty Dozen. The Gorgonites are voiced by Frank Regella. The others are voiced by the cast from This Is Spinal Tap. If you see the credits, it's true. And it is Gremlins Light, though. But the thing is, there's no things happen, but somebody kind of gets killed, but not really. But there's no danger where there should be. So it's really light danger. Very light danger. Like, no one gets hurt, no one's seriously killed, no one gets run over by something. It's not you're in fear with your life. That's why it's more for kids than adults. And that's appreciated, but I wish they did ramp up a little bit more. But yeah, and then you see at the end where after all that damage, the toys cost, then Sawyer comes to rescue with money, and the farm says, "You did blah 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 blah. Oh, here's your." Oh, goes, "Oh, thank you. This covers everything." It's like, okay, but yeah, that's it for today. That's part one, and part two will, you know, will come in a couple days. But what do you think about, Joe Dante films? Do you appreciate most of them, all of them? What do you like about them? What you don't like? What's your favorite Joe Dante film? What's your least favorite? Please let me know in the comments below. And, don't forget to, hit whatever. And I'll see you on the next. So this is Blu-ray Cinema saying have a great day. And thank you guys. And I'll see you on the next. Bye.